Well, I do feel like king of the world here on Dave's Gone By when I get to have cool guests, talented guests, um, and find people like our friend, new friend in the neighborhood who's in a park. She's got to unmute so that we hear her. Hold on. She's doing it. She's a playwright, possibly best known for her comedy Tales of the Lost Formicans, but has been writing for many, many years, also teaching playwriting for a bunch of years. Still need you to unmute. We'll get there. I wonder if I can unmute her. Let's see if I can do this for her. I wish I could.
Okay. Hi, Dave.
I think this is going to be good.
Hi, Dave.
Connie Congdon?
Okay.
Yes, hi, Dave.
Are you there in the neighborhood? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay!
Hey, greetings. Hello, Connie Congdon. How are you?
I'm fine, David.
Good.
Do you like Dave or David?
For the show, I'm Dave. And
hi, Dave.
So there you go. But let me remind people or tell that for about 30 years you were a teacher at Amherst College. You've done adaptations of plays by Goldoni and Moliere. And I'm sure you hear this every time you're introduced anywhere, but we'll do it again. Tony Kushner has ranked you as one of the best playwrights in the country. She's gotten grants from the NEA, the Rockefeller Foundation, and won the Lesiie Award for Career Women Playwrights. Please welcome woman playwright Connie Congdon. Where are you? Is that your house?
I am in a garden at my friend Betty's house in Amherst, Massachusetts. And yeah, that's it. It's not terribly sunny, but can you hear the birds?
Oh yeah, I mean we're also got an overcast day here, but it looks beautiful there. Is that like a copper beech behind you? I don't know what tree that is, or
no, it's a crabapple.
Oh, is it really? Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Congratulations, because both of us are going to have plays in the Red Bull Theater Company Short New Play Festival. I've been promoting the heck out of it for obvious reasons. So was this the kind of thing where you saw the call from Red Bull and you know, when you saw it, did you automatically go, all right, let me think of a play, I'll send them one? Have you been sending them one for years? What?
I was commissioned to write one a few seasons ago, and I did that. And I keep up on their work, but I didn't really, let's see, what was the sequence? Oh, I knew the story I wanted to tell. And I thought, I'll do that for Red Bull. Let me see if I can tell this story in, 10 minutes. And that's what happened. The very first draft, I read it with my granddaughter and another family member, and we timed it.
Yeah.
And it came in at just 10 minutes. So then I went back and did some trimming, and in the course of it, rewrote it. And then a few days later, I looked at it again and I rewrote it again. And I hope, I like it a lot. I mean, I like the result. From the very first draft, I liked the play, which doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working on a longer piece that I was working on 25 years ago. I thought I had finished it 25 years ago, and I didn't. And now I'm going back to it, and I'm changing just everything. I'm still slogging through it. As opposed to the play that I wrote for this thing, that came real quick. This was like one of those. With me, the whole Red Bull thing is every year I've been submitting. And one time I was a finalist and nothing. And then all the other years, like, thank you, no thank you, thank you, but no thank you. And at this point, I just look, I'm like, oh, they have another contest to hell with. I delete the email. And then a day later, my brain starts going, all right, let me look at that email again. And oh, wait a minute. And something sparked. And was actually
having somebody waiting for a play and knowing it's going to be read pretty quickly is a tremendous.
Well, that's if you're commissioned. That's the commission thing.
That's the commission. But this one I just sent in, And furthermore, I had the deadline wrong. So I'm working away, and I look, and the deadline is like immediate. And so I emailed the head of Red Bull, who is not somebody I think we're friends now, and just said, "Oh my God, I need another 12 hours. That's all." And he said, "Oh, that's fine, Connie. Just email it directly to me." And I brought it in much sooner than that. They say things like by midnight,
Right,
but
yeah.
that's just when they want it all to stop so they can print these things out and read them. So I don't know if they print out or read them on the screen, because I've done both, and it's a different reading experience. But anyway, so that's what happened. And I thought, phew. And I got it in, and
Yeah,
and it had something about the Red Bull Theater in the story, which works with the story I'm telling. And how
the play is called "If This Be Not a Good Play, Then the Devil Is in It." What is the play actually about?
Well, first of all, the title is from Thomas Dekker, a contemporary of all these guys who all knew each other and worked on each other's plays. So yes, of course, Marlowe and Shakespeare were best buds. It was definitely a bromance, but they worked very hard. And Marlowe was Shakespeare's. Well, they were the same age. Let me just say that. So
well, you wrote a play where Marlowe was kind of after Shakespeare's more than a friend kind of a thing.
Yeah, and but it's not. It's more of a, homosexual relationship. Homosexual sex was seen in a different light for most centuries until the last two. Oh, I guess I need to say three, don't I? And in America, where all sex, I think, is ultimately questioned. And then, gay sex, oh my God, it's just for pleasure. Oh, and then the whole, I don't need to go into it, but it's seen as a terrible sin, really, really bad sin, beyond just adultery, and it's beyond fornication. So it was seen as really negative. In the Elizabethan era, men had sex with each other. It wasn't accepted, but it wasn't. They didn't kill you for it, as Marlowe says to Shakespeare after Marlowe's gone into the future and come back and said, "Well, they have more names for us, but they still hate us, but we have more names." So,
but you're saying they weren't that hated back then. It was kind of, this is sort of under the rug. It wasn't a terrible thing.
Yes, it wasn't a terrible. It wasn't. No.
So, but that was your Shakespeare Marlowe play.
I'm sorry, I crossed over. They kind of meshed together. So this play takes place after Marlowe's death, and Shakespeare is writing on his own with the help of the actors, as always. And what happens, this is really based on something that really happened. The landlord raised their rent to such an extent that they just couldn't make the payments, and the theaters were closed because of plague and because of the Roundheads, and that's the Puritans. So nobody was making any money, and the theater was going to be closed. So the theater was called the theater. It was built by the Burbages. There was Richard Burbage, who was Shakespeare's major actor, and Cuthbert, who was more of a manager, and then their father, whose name was something ordinary like William, I think. Anyway,
It's interesting that they built it in the city and not the burbs, but there you go.
well, this is the deal. I don't know why they built it where they did, but the rents went up and they were going to have to close it. So what happened one night is, or it may have been more than one night, but the whole troupe, the actors, everybody got together, dissembled, took apart the theater, and it's just a pile of lumber. And then they hired people on barges called, I think they were called something that starts with a WH. Wherries, not ferries, but wherries.
Okay.
And to carry the lumber across, they carried it across to Bankside, and they reassembled it. And with a little more lumber, they made the Globe. So that is what happened. And it was all done at night. And I just love the brilliance of it and the problem solving and the desperation of it. Yeah.
So your play covers the idea of that or the results of it?
No, it actually covers the night when they transport the lumber on the wherries across the Thames to Bankside.
Oh, that's so, yeah.
And they haven't rebuilt this other theater yet, and they don't have a name for it. At the end of the play, they still don't have a name, even though Lesiie, who is on the banks of the Thames, because she, as she admits, she's lost her river, the river Lesiie, and she's on the banks of the Thames and trying to get people to get on her boat so that she can take them into oblivion. Oh. So the Thames won't give you oblivion, but she can. If you touch her, you will forget everything. You will forget your whole life. Wow. And you can start anew.
You have her address?
Yeah, I know. Yes. Lesiie, taxi, Lesiie. Yeah, right.
Oh, they have the Lesiie Uber. It's a whole subset.
Yeah, you know what? It is the Lesiie Uber. And I love that. I had a character in another play of mine I named Uberbeth, which means the ultimate caretaker. So yeah, it's an Uber, and she's trying to get people, into the boat because she thinks they need oblivion, and she's immortal. So that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, being immortal is got to be really boring. I mean, as far as she is concerned, it's boring.
It would have been until like Netflix, and now I can see it being, a possibility.
A possibility if you
Netflix and Spotify immortality, I can manage it. I think.
Yeah, as long as you have enough, you can remember enough cultural references to make sense of the stories. If you think about having no cultural references because your mind has been erased, and you're watching Netflix and you're thinking, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, you're probably better off with Hulu.
Pardon?
You're probably better off with Hulu in that circumstance.
Yeah.
Now Hulu would work, not so much Netflix. No, so I want to talk about some other stuff with our guest playwright Connie Congdon. So here's the deal: when did you write your very, very first play?
It was 1976, and my son was in kindergarten. So he was, we got him on the bus in the morning, and the bus stopped right in front of our house. So I got him on the bus, and he went off to kindergarten. And then when the bus came back, I'd hear those air brakes, and I know, yes. Oh, Sam's back. And I would just put away my work, which I was doing, and I was writing at that point in longhand on the kitchen table in, just ordinary notebook paper. Yeah. And I folded up wherever it was, and Sam would be home, and I'd fix him lunch. And I'd take him, if it was a nursery school day, I'd take him to nursery school, and we would, I would then have the afternoon free. I wouldn't go back to writing though, because I took the sort of spillover basic English courses from the Department of Humanities there at the
Oh, so you
small
were
college.
already at Amherst. What were you teaching then?
No, this was in St. Mary's County of Maryland,
Yeah.
which for a girl from the high plains of the West was just phenomenal. And I wouldn't let my husband remove any of the things I thought might be flowering. And so our property didn't look very good, but I just couldn't believe how things grew. And, we had water around us, and, it was just a totally different culture. So the school was St. Mary's College of Maryland, and I'm still close to a lot of those people because I don't know, I was very young, and we bonded tremendously with students and some of the teachers. So that's when I realized I could teach English, and I liked it. I'm talking basic, what they call bonehead English, which I then ended up teaching for 7 years at UMass while I was getting an MFA so that I could continue to teach, because I had found in the works of my people my trade. So that meant I could be a writer. So this first play, I knew if I finished it in time, I could give it to this friend of mine, Betty Osborne, who affected a lot of people.
The American Theater Critics Association has an award based on her there, like the Osborne.
That's right, M. Elizabeth Osborne. That's correct. So, and she loved new work, and so she told me that if I finished a play in time, she would produce it. And I did, and she did. And that first play was Gilgamesh.
Oh man, yeah.
It was 1976, and I think the production was 77. But I had fallen in love with Joseph Campbell. I read The Hero with a Thousand Faces, and then that's how I found the story of Gilgamesh, which I just loved. But it's a huge story, and so I just used this one part of it where his friend Enkidu dies. He just dies, and Gilgamesh can't accept the fact that here he is, king of the world, the Sumerians. His best friend could die, and he won't give the body up, and his mother has to come and, say, get out of here. And then Gilgamesh goes to the underworld to find the flower of eternity. And he finds it, but then, let's, read the story of Gilgamesh. That's what I'm going to say.
Does it bring Eurydice there too? I mean, it's just, there's a whole bunch of things down there.
Exactly. And he has, mainly Gilgamesh has to accept the fact that death really happens. And Betty did this incredible, different friend, Betty. This is my friend, Betty, who's not a director, who is also an English teacher. So we make a cabal, all of us. So Betty did an incredible production. She knew a lot of people in the professional theater. She called in, she got Fred Brown, who was a major costume designer, to design and make the costumes. And she had original music composed, and it was played on by this wonderful musician who was a percussionist, and mainly, and he had different sized jars, like mayonnaise jars, big pickle jars, on a towel, and if he hit them with a timpani stick, they made this gorgeous sound, and he made up a lot of the music. This was 1977. It was really ahead of its time.
And this was done in Maryland?
Maryland, in St. Mary's, at St. Mary's College, which I think still has a really good theater department. So, and the designer did this phenomenal job. And it totally.
In other words, in terms of having your very first play, now you write it, you have automatic guaranteed production, and the production is fantastic. It doesn't give has anything in your life matched that experience?
I am happy to say yes.
Like,
Yes.
yes, all right, good. Yeah, such as
I've been very fortunate in that regard. And even though, so Gilgamesh it was based on the story of Gilgamesh, but obviously it was original. So it was one of those, I wouldn't call it an adaptation. I never called it an adaptation. It's like my version of Gorky's Vasa Zelezhnova, which I called a mother or the mother. And this was at ACT in San Francisco, incredible production. And that really was mine. I did so much work on it that the story and the basic characters were from Gorky, but the play, I would say, is mine. And Olympia Dukakis, bless her heart, played Vasa, which is the mother.
Let me ask you, also, when you're doing, because I didn't know you were adapting also Russian pieces, but when you're doing French and Italian, was it the point where do you know those languages and you were doing an adaptation translation, or did you work solely from English translations of the plays and then?
I got my own translations. So the valuable thing is another one of my colleagues, Virginia Scott, was the expert on Moliere. And so I commissioned a literal translation, and then I put it into verse. Wow. So the Molieres, I've done the 4 big plays. The one that's probably was the most successful that's had more productions is the Tartuffe, although the Misanthrope has also.
Well, those are the most popular Moliere plays by anybody. Richard Wilbur is going to be, those two first before Imaginary Invalid and his own.
Yeah, so I thought my job there was to not be Richard Wilbur, which actually is quite easy for me because he is a fucking Brit. Can I say the F word?
Yeah, you can. Go.
Absolutely. Okay, David. Yeah. Obviously he was a fucking brilliant poet. I had the pleasure of actually getting to know him and him addressing me my first name. And, what a mensch. Oh. Lovely, lovely man. So I thought my job was just to have my verse versions. That's what we decided to call it. My new verse versions, not be Richard Wilbur. So I made some, I luckily knew those plays. I had been at the Hartford stage working with Mark Lemos, and we did a production of The Misanthrope, which was wonderful, and I worked on. So I had that in my head. And then Tartuffe, I had seen versions.
Well, let me ask you, Connie. So it's the question here of, I don't want to put it in a negative sense of why bother, but what your Tartuffe, or what did your Tartuffe do that was different, or what angle did it take that wasn't in this translation and Wilbur's translation? Why did we need your Tartuffe?
Well, let me start with The Misanthrope. That was the first one that Wilbur did. He did it in 1953 or 4, and it had phrases like "by Jove" in it, and I thought, not American.
Oh.
So I used standard American stage English for The Misanthrope, and then for Tartuffe, I had a huge amount of fun, but I want to say in both cases, these were headed into productions at American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco. Right. So the real drive was that I wasn't just doing it. It was...
you were asked to do it by this particular theater company.
I was, and I've got to thank my dear friend Craig Slate, who ran the Young Conservatory really started the made it what it was, which major training place for young actors. He's the one that said, Connie could really, she's a good poet, By the way, I started writing poetry, when I was 11, and I still write poetry. So, and I remember this experience of being on the airplane on my way home from the meeting where I knew I had the job. And I opened up the book, and there's a famous scene. And I thought, I know this scene almost by heart. So I'm going to write this scene for myself in verse. And you know what, Dave, it was just so funny. I mean, it was funny with obviously with Moliere, but I modernized it a bit. Tartuffe has very few changes because Virginia Scott did this literal translation, which is in prose, which is just brilliant. And she would translate things. I remember this one line was, this has this inflection, this has this double meaning, and oh gosh, I don't know. So I had all these cultural contexts in the Tartuffe draft. So anyway, on the plane, I just realized I can do this. I like this. I like iambic pentameter. I like rhyming couplets. Yes. So, but what got me doing it is I was heading into production. I knew I had a production. It wasn't just going to sit somewhere and, I wouldn't be at the corner of, 42nd and Broadway going, anybody want to do my play? It's really good.
What playwright wouldn't have wanted to be like Eugene O'Neill, where every couple of months, do you have a one act, do you have a whatever? Because we'll do it a week later, we'll stage it. What person wanted to be Neil Simon and Manny Eisenberg? It's like Neil, we got a Broadway theater open. Are you? I'm at the third draft. I'll have it done in 2 weeks, and yes, and it'll be opening on Broadway. How many playwrights would kill? You're looking at one for that sort of like, we need
a huge number, honey, a huge number, David. I was thinking about Neil Simon, who was brilliant in that his first play, full-length play, he based it on his own life, and that's Come Blow Your Horn. So because he had Manny Eisenberg. What?
I have to add moment that when I was in high school senior, my first theatrical anything was playing the father in our high school production of Come Blow Your Horn. Okay, continue, please.
That is a great role. And this is the bit that Neil made clear is that like a lot of, he's a modern American writer, and he doesn't see extra, people come in and go, there's a telegram, sir. Everybody has a character, everybody has a background, and that was the way he embraced life, and he saw people very three-dimensionally, and I had nothing but respect for Doc. I would love to have met him and go, Doc, I'm going to call you Doc. It just, a lot of people thought, oh, sitcom, they should all they need, first of all, stop putting down sitcoms and look at the comic brilliance of Neil Simon, because it's people, and he has a comic point of view. It's how he survived. So Lost in Yonkers has I could just, I should shut up because I can just talk about him.
No, the thing is, I want to ask you so many questions. So as we go along, I'm like, if that answer goes like 5 minutes, then I won't have time for this, and this. But I'm of the feeling that Neil Simon has been very unfairly kind of pushed aside, and he's a white Jew from the 1950s, and he wrote that kind of thing, and we don't want to hear that anymore. I mean, how do you feel right now in this wokeness era, where I think we're having 7 black plays coming to Broadway in the new season, which is great, but at the same time, are we over stressing wokeness and doing something brand new, shocking in terms of theater?
Well, I'm all for wokeness. Finally, because I worked for professional theater for 7 years, I know that a lot that goes into play selection is there are a lot of plays we love, but ultimately, can we get the director? Can we get the cast and how does it fit into a season? And ultimately, finally, the most important question is this for our audience? So right now, what's happened is the audience, even though it's still, in terms of percentages, still hugely a white audience, now want to see Black plays. It used to be, or Black written plays. There's a problem with using the word Black, which I was schooled in a few days ago. And
what's wrong with? I was just talking about this before we went on the air. Of we can't use people of color anymore because that now has an issue. Color always has an issue. Black is no. What's the word?
I don't know. I have Black people, and a whole portion of my family are Black people. Obviously, not in my DNA, but they are part of our family, and I mean by blood through intermarriage. And then they remarried more Black people, so they're not just even half Black anymore. And so my cousin Stephanie said to me, Black is a good term because it's national nation identity, and because we're the family's Afro-Caribbean, so African American doesn't really fit. But I'm confused, and I just made a terrible mistake in DC in rehearsal, and I don't know really. I don't know the answer. I don't think that it's like monolithic, like everybody agrees on this at all. But I guess I need to be schooled.
Yeah, no, I know, but you're going to tell us to watch out and don't use this, don't use this, don't use this. We need the alternative, or else we're going to be twisting ourselves. One moment, yes. Well, yeah, but you can't just, imagine going up to every Black person and say, what would you like me to refer to you as? And may I please buy this can of soup? And it's like,
it's not, no, because they would, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself. I want to be attuned, but I've gotten burned because I burned people accidentally.
Will you hold
and it's happened twice now, both in the context of the theater.
But you meant nothing by it. You didn't mean to. I assume you didn't look at someone and say, like an Eskimo, and you said Eskimo in a nasty way, and they're like, how dare you? I'm an Eskimo, or something.
Yeah, well, and because they're individual tribes, and you know what, Dave? I'm puzzled. I need some instruction. So the email address I still use, because I got terribly hacked, is cscongdon, CONGDON @amherst.edu. I would love to hear from playwrights of color, which is still used. I think anyway, I need schooling. So I'd love to hear from people. Really, I'm serious. I'm not just like,
you just gave out your email address on our, so cscongdon, CONGDON @amherst, AMHERST.edu. Now let you keep your college name, so that's really, because you're retired, you don't teach anymore, right?
No, I'm in emeritus, and I miss my students terribly.
I object to that term. I don't like the word emeritus. It's just.
Help me.
When all these students would tell you, said you love teaching. What is the one thing that you most wanted to get across to your playwriting, or even your English? Maybe it's the same as your English students, but to your students when they put pen to paper or fingers to keys?
Do not edit yourself. Write the first draft and do not edit yourself. And particularly don't pay attention to the voice inside your head that goes, oh my God, this is crap. Oh no, I just said that in another. Don't do any of that. I do all of that. And then I push through and keep going. And because I can get hung up on a word choice,
oh hell yeah,
and then go make a sandwich or something. It's the only way to write. And I've written letters of recommendation that way and gotten praised. I give good letters of recommendation because I just start talking about the student. And then you can go back and read it aloud, and then you can do your editing. But if you're editing as you go, forget it. Forget it. That's the road to hell. And I mean your own private hell.
Oh, I'm in there all the time, Connie. But let me ask you, this I've always found different. I mean, not that I've had so many readings and things in my life, but back when I was doing writing plays in school and stuff, when we have a reading or a production of a show, and it's still like quote unquote in the draft stage, I find it really difficult to do anything in the actual reading or viewing of the show to edit and criticize in my head and see what's working, what's not. I'm so into like, how are the actors doing? Am I having a great time? Am I loving hearing my words out there? That I find it's a lot easier for me to just read over my play solo and edit that way than to expect the process of readings and the process of workshops to help. How do you feel about that?
Well, and my students, we had the advantage of having a whole class of people. I mean, a whole room full of people. And from the beginning, I'd say, okay, so if you're not comfortable with white people reading your Black characters, then I'll ask people to come in and read. And so we did that a few times. After a while, my playwrights in class would just, they would cast white people, because normally that's the majority, just to hear the play. So as soon as actors start saying those words, I know I know what's wrong, or I know where I am. But also the main thing is, I ask them after they do the first draft, only the first draft, to not change a word, so that they can start believing in their own voice, because they may cut everything out that is only them. And the idea of voice is it's a delicate thing. So just leave it there, hear it in front of the audience, the class, and you'll start to believe in the right things about your play, about the writing. And so we would do that. We'd read it, and then I'd ask the playwright, how did we do? And the playwright would, maybe have a couple of comments, but mainly they were kind of overwhelmed at, how much better it sounded than they thought it did. I mean, most people, this whole thing of like writers being egocentric, and I don't know where that comes from. Every writer I have known would like to go and sit in the janitor's closet with a little periscope or, a pinhole at their first reading. I mean, it's not like they're going, oh yes, I'm excellent. They're, I wear Depend.
July 12th already. I'm going to be sitting there in front of a computer. Your play's going to be done. Jose Rivera's plays, all these playwrights, myself. And when mine comes on, I don't know what I'll do with myself. I'm excited to see it, but at the same time, I'm like,
Oh, honey lamb, I know the feeling. And luckily, I've been there enough that I'm expecting a good result. But I also had it read by family members who weren't the people in the play at all. And, my daughter reading Shakespeare's line, my granddaughter reading Shakespeare's lines was really fun, and her enjoying it, and you hear the voice. So
I mean, I envy you that perspective. By the way, I want to, before we start getting the people in for the Today Yesterday trivia quiz on Dave's Gone By, I want to remind everybody that we are talking with Connie Congdon and her email address. If you want to talk about the use of various types of language, including Black and people of color, but anything involving playwriting, I hope they can come and chat or share with Connie Congdon, C.S. Congdon, Congdon, at Amherst, A-M-H, that's so pretentious not to pronounce the H, amherst.edu for it being a college. So let me ask you, before we get the other people in here, some of the fun stuff I wanted to get to. Like, did you have a controversy about undergarments in terms of plastic adult dependee undergarments that you were talking about with
Yes, I did a piece called "Is Sex Possible?" And this was about incontinence, which I'm 76 years old. Hello, hello, young incontinence, wherever you are. And I just came out and I did it in Omaha for that playwriting festival they have, which is just most excellent. But I did it for this audience of board members and other playwrights and actors, and sitting in the front at a front, at a table. We set it up like a cabaret. So was this wonderful woman named Eve, and Eve is one of the family that owns Omaha Steaks, and she's an incredible art supporter. And she was sitting there, and I started talking about my adventures with incontinence, and she laughed so hard she hit her head on the table.
Oh.
And I said, "Oh my God, we've lost Eve. Are you okay?" Her husband, who's passed away, but also a wonderful man, set her up and she was fine. And I thought, okay, this is good. But just telling the truth about your life is still the best material. And I have, I've used my life all the time. And as my friend said, my friend Greg Lemming, who's directed a lot of my plays, and he said, "You've got to stop writing about my life," because I used his life. And also a lot of his life was parallel to a lot of other people I knew.
Sure.
So when Greg would tell me a story and I go, "Oh my God, I've heard that before. Oh, that's a common experience." It goes click. And, I'm sorry, it just comes out in the play. I can't help myself. So Dave, don't just beware if there's a character who is Jewish, has a receding hairline, and wears Hawaiian shirts. And by the way, talks a little bit out of the side of his mouth. Except that's an actor character. Thing, and I would never put.
Hair lip and cleft palate. That's not.
Honey, I'm so sorry. I've done it again.
You've offended. Wonderful. Connie Congdon has offended the unoffendable me. Yes, this was surgical.
I didn't see that. Oh, so you're like Stacy Keach.
Yes.
Hot.
Not quite as handsome as Stacy. Not quite as handsome as Stacy.
So that is. Okay, good. Well, I'm. Every day and every way, I manage to say something that just is horrible.
Yeah, no, I'm a side talker for a specific reason, but I do sometimes talk out of the side of my mouth intentionally.
Well,
yes, I do. Yeah, and
I find it. You won't believe it, but I find it kind of sexy. There's a actor whose he gets character roles. And a lot of them is because he talks out of the side of his mouth. So he's in Westerns a lot, and he does this a lot. And but anyway, the point for writers out there is that's a good one for fiction, but not in a play, because, that's not going to help the actor, and it doesn't help the character. So, yeah. All right. Sorry. And did I mention?
It's totally fine.
Okay. And I mentioned you were Jewish too, by the way. That was
I'm not offended by. Although the preferred term for me is Jew-esque, because I'm not particularly religious.
David, it's
person of circumcision is my preferred term.
Oh, what you see, but most white kids. Boys are circumcised, so.
Yeah, but they probably took more off mine, because if you ever look down there's nothing left. But
No, I think it's probably because there was so much. They thought, "Oh, what the hell? Let's get that Moyle who hasn't had a lot of practice. Let get him doing it." Oh, somebody stop me, Dave! I've started.
I will never. No, this is the kind of thing I do not stop on this program.
Okay.
So speaking of sexual things, you've also written very specifically, as you said, about sex 50, 60, 70 plus. You've talked about dating at a certain period, although now you've settled down, I guess, with your life partner for about a decade or so. How's that going?
Yeah. Well, it's going really well. I mean, he's just a great guy. And I can say this now, he's polyamorous. So when we got together, he said, well, there's Jennifer and Betty. And Jennifer is off on her own now, she just wants to, she travels in this gorgeous van she had outfitted. So they still have a deep emotional relationship, but Betty is his other partner. And so the three of us during COVID bonded because we created a pod of 3 people. And in that, Ron got very ill, and Betty and I were taking turns taking care of him. And we've gotten to the point now where, I'll call and I'll say, have you seen our boyfriend? I'm actually not sure. And she goes, oh, I think he's at Lowe's buying more stuff for the garden. Yeah, this is his garden that he put in. And it's just, it's beautiful. So yeah. I mean, I'm very, very happy.
Could you have conceived, like back when you were first writing that play at the kitchen table and getting your kid back from school at lunchtime, could you have conceived that you would be part of a functional, happy throuple in your 70s?
I couldn't have imagined my 70s, but yes, that I imagine, because I'm part of the sexual revolution, although it seemed to, there seemed to be a swinging door that somehow I got pushed through. Like in the hospital, you walk out and the next thing you know, you're out in the street. And so I don't know what happened to the sexual revolution. Oh, I do know. Sexual politics took it over. And it just got to be, it's just, thank God I'm not a white male. And I just wouldn't know where to look, as we used to say down home. I just didn't know where to look.
Actually, a white male, I can tell you, I still look at tits. So there you go. That's where I look. And then
good.
Mostly tits.
Hey, yes. Honestly, let's celebrate them.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I just, I think the whole sexual politics thing that dominated feminism and still has too much dominance. Feminism should be about helping poor women get abortions if they need them. And okay, part of my family's Catholic, but there's still a couple out there that would just hate me for saying that. I'm sorry, Patty. But anyway, helping. Can
you not be a feminist and be pro-life? I'm taking the other side here, but can you
not be a feminist and be pro-life? Yeah. I think you can, everybody, yeah, sure. I mean, why not? You should be able, feminism, the whole push of it was about choice, not about lockstep. And it, like so many political movements, it gets into lockstep. And then there's all this argument about language. And that's why when it came to language, I just refused to be edited. So I still refer to myself as a girl. I'm an old girl. I just don't. We got off on other topics about being offended. We're living in a culture that's all about being offended. So if you're a playwright, you're fucked, okay? Because theater is going to offend people.
Please.
And in some ways, unless it's doing its job. So I had so many favorite students, but one of my students, Fatima, was taking a course in playwriting at another college, and her teacher said, now just be careful, don't write something that'll hurt someone's feelings, and she was like, taxi, Uber, and she came over to my class. And so this is an African American woman who may be Muslim, I'm not sure. All these tags are like, I don't know, a human. Anyway, Fatima, hi, sweetheart. So, yeah, she came over to my class, and we had this thing of like no editing. And so if you say something that's real, if a character, if it comes out and it's like really like, whoa, then by that I mean offensive, whatever that means. First of all, I think number one, you're doing your job. Secondly, we talk about it. We just are open and we talk about it. I don't think people are talking about anything anymore. There's just like, okay,
there's overtalk.
that was wrong. And
Connie, you're freezing.
I'm done with you. Click. Defriend.
Connie, I need you to hold up because basically, I don't know if you're hearing me.
Writer in chat.
Yeah. I'm just going to type, Connie, you're freezing. Her internet was fantastic for the whole thing, and then it started going kind of kablooey. Let me get to my chat window. Hi, Connie, you're frozen. There. Meanwhile, Connie, I don't know if she hears me, but David Sheward is with us. Hello, David. How are you doing?
Hi, sorry.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Hi.
Hi,
sorry.
Okay, this could not be because this is the best part. And can you see me?
Now, okay, we got better again. That's Connie Congdon, by the way, David Sheward. Playwright Connie Congdon. Connie, this is David Sheward.
Hello.
She can always text her in chat.
Hi, another David.
Hi,
David.
how are you?
David Sheward is the former president of the Drama Desk. He is also a blogger for the David Desk and TheaterLife.com and CulturalDaily.com. And we do have knockwood, and Connie, I think you're unfrozen. I think you're fine. Okay, we'll let you make your point in a minute, but we also want to get our other friend of the neighborhood, director and theater critic Lesiie Hoban Blake is trying to log in as well to do the. So while Leslie's logging in, because that usually takes about 5 or 10 minutes, Connie, if you want to finish your point, that'd be great. Because I missed.
Okay.
We're frozen. We missed so much of it. Yeah.
Yeah, what was I talking about?
Oh, I have no idea. I was busy texting you. So,
yeah. So I'm, So I don't have the text because I'm outside. What happened is the wind happened, and it may have. But you can hear me now. Okay.
I can hear you. You're not frozen. You're fabulous. You're set. Okay. Leslie, I see her name, and that's it. So we'll see.
So the point I was making is these are tough times for a playwright because you have your characters say things and then people think that's you saying them when you're just your character. I never thought that William Shakespeare was Iago. I just don't think that's him. That is he. I think he's still an English teacher. I think that he created a character. And I don't think Eugene O'Neill was Huey, although he used himself a bit. It's that we're in this. It's difficult for playwriting right now.
I mean, I don't think. Speaking of Jewish people, I work with a fellow named Rabbi Saul Solomon, and there's this crossover line where it's like people think, and it is. There's more of me in there than they want to acknowledge because there are things that he says that I actually believe in, but they tell, he's just joking. We don't have to listen to that. When it's like, no, I wrote that part, and I meant that part, but if you want to take him as joking, go ahead. But there is that weird line we're crossing.
There's a very weird line. There seem to be lines all around. I know. I was talking about Caitlyn Jenner. So I put this on Facebook. Hi, it's Connie, but I've always felt racially dysmorphic. So I've decided to become Black. I'm taking melanin and my skin is darkening. I'm eating only soul food and whatever the hell that is. I'm eating only soul food. I'm getting takeout from Sylvie's.
Wait, did you get hate mail for that satire? I mean,
Oh, honey, you have no idea. It was, I said, I've spent the last month reading all about African-American history. So I think I absolutely know everything about what it's like to be Black. So the first person I heard from was Lee Simon, who is African American. Okay, that's his name. He got his last name is Simon. His first name is Levi because of the Bible and Lee. And anyway, he said, "Dear Connie, I'm sitting at the Starbucks, the corner of 42nd and 9th, laughing my ass off, and people are looking at me. So love you, Levy Lee." Well, after that, that's pretty much the only positive thing I heard. The rest was from former students who will only increase the racism in this country, should be taken down immediately. And here I am, a mother. I mean, that's what I love my students. I defriended one of them just immediately. I just thought, okay, defriend. I can't even begin. If he didn't learn about irony and satire and what an incredible weapon it is, I can't. I just.
But actually, I have to say, I'm a little bit confused. I mean, were you making fun of Caitlyn Jenner turning into a woman? What were you making fun of? But
I was making fun of. Yes, I was. I was making fun of Caitlyn Jenner deciding, and then her supporters deciding that she was now a woman because she'd been taking these hormones. She still had a penis. And yeah, so my point was, you haven't even begun to understand what it's like to be a woman. And I hadn't even gotten into the menstruation issue, which is a huge one.
Yeah.
I don't think unless you menstruate that you can begin to understand what being a woman is. So I'm ready to take the hate mail, but I'm okay with that. I'm more interested in how do the other thing I asked about, where I used the term Black, referring to an actor who is Black, and I was accused of being more than a racist, a white supremacist. So,
well, the actor was Arnold Stang, so I really don't understand the. No.
Dear Arnold, he was just trying to take somebody's, he was trying to support the oppressed.
There you go. Look, Connie, I'm going to stop you here just because it's time. We have our people here. Yay!
Yay! Okay.
David Sheward.
So sorry. I don't know why it's so difficult to get on this. I really don't.
I think somebody.
What? Sorry, David. What?
No, I was just saying someone needs a new internet or something.
Yeah.
It's. I don't know. Maybe it could be.
Anyway, that's
Good morning, Connie. I don't know if you recall, but you and I were on some woman in theater thing or other over the years.
Oh, I'm sure. Lesiie Hoban.
Lesiie Hoban
Blake. So, are you related to Russell Hoban?
Oh, no, and I'm not related to Phoebe Hoban. I'm related to James Hoban, who designed the White House.
Wow.
Yeah, except we discovered that he had 7 slaves who helped build it, so we're not so proud of it anymore.
Well, yeah, a lot. It was built by slave labor, and
it was his slave labor that he brought them with. I mean, he bought them here, and then because they didn't have them in Ireland.
But he didn't call them people of color, so it's okay.
Yeah,
he called them by the right term, and that made everything all right.
Yeah, because I can't even. Oh God, the Irish.
I know, Con. It goes back to Barry Lyndon. James Hoban was one of those, the aristocratic Irish.
Yeah, so he was the Anglo-Irish.
But they came over early with skills. My grandfather, the very distant relation, was part of the potato famine group of Irish who came over with no skills whatsoever.
Yeah, my ancestor,
and
Mary Jameson. Mary Jameson had enough nourishment to get on a boat and get over here. So
that's why you're here?
Well, there are lots of other relatives who came earlier, and as we have been told, we also had some ancestors who met quote the boat.
Really?
But I did DNA. It turned up in my son's DNA, And then it turned up in my grandson's DNA because it isn't in the mitochondrial, out of my depth here, but I'll keep talking anyway. It's
You
not
throw
carried.
those words around so well.
Yeah. Well, she's Connie Congdon, of course she does. You know, that's the point. Let me. It is just about 11 o'clock Eastern time here in the neighborhood. You're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz. It's our 804th episode. We're calling it Pros and Cons in honor of Connie Congdon. We've got Lesiie Hoban Blake. We've got David Sheward. We have Connie Congdon all here to play the Today, Yesterday trivia quiz that we do every week. So, Connie, since you are the new guest in the neighborhood, we're going to let you make the first call in terms of pick a number, please, between 1 and 6, and tell us what it is.
4.
Connie says 4. And then, let's see, is it feminist to ask Lesiie to go second, to choose second, or is it more feminist that I treat you guys equally?
Didn't
Feminist
she
to ask Lesiie what she'd like to do.
No. Didn't she win last week, and therefore I should get the pick?
That's right. Lesiie took the crown. She won the game.
No, I did not. I did not take the crown.
Oh, no, it was Vicky Clardy. Vicky Clardy won the game. That's right. I'm sorry.
I was a half a point off or something. Yeah.
Didn't she score more?
So how do you answer the question? We'll just all be shouting the answer, won't we?
No, I'll
No.
give.
David has rules.
Everybody
There
has
are rules.
turns.
Okay.
It is not a free for all, and there's a director involved. Me.
But
So
I believe Lesiie had the most points more points than me last week. So
Yes.
That's it. I didn't win, but I did have more points.
She
than
came in
you.
second.
so I should get to choose the next number.
Sure, you should, David. We'll
David-
call you Dr. David Sue from now on.
No, I'm trying to be fair. Not just,
all right,
I'm not trying
David
to
Sheward,
like-
pick a number between.
I'm not trying to be a victim.
Sorry, Connie, that was an inside joke. You'll get
I'm
that.
not trying to be. I'm not playing the victim card.
It's okay.
No, not much.
I will pick 3.
David Sheward picks the number 3, and Lesiie, are you 6 or 2? You're usually.
Well, today is the 26th. 2 to 6 are both my lucky numbers. So, having said that, I'm going to lose. I will, and I took 2 last week, so I'll take 6 this week.
Lesiie with the big number 6. All this means, Connie, let me explain the rules to you quickly of the game. It's called the Today, Yesterday Trivia Quiz. We have questions, 3 rounds of 3 questions, plus a tiebreaker. We do the tiebreaker anyway, even if it's the winners of fait accompli. But each question is worth 2 points. If the contestant gets the question right, you get 2 points. If you don't, one of the other 2 contestants has the chance to steal and get those 2 points. You can answer a question wrong, there's no penalty, but you don't get any points. Now, the reason for the numbering is the way we start the game is I roll a virtual pair of dice, a virtual die, a single die, which I'm going to roll as we speak, and the number comes up, boxcar number 6. So, Lesiie, you get to decide, do you want to go first, second?
Oh, first, please, David, first. I never get to go first.
Well, you do today. You do indeed.
And you're going to give me a question about 376 or 1292 or some weird date like that, right? Okay.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, that first.
I know.
The next roll is number 4, which is Connie's number. Connie chose 4. So, Connie, would you rather go second or third?
I'd like to go second.
Sure.
Good
I
girl.
like it. I'll go
Good
second.
one. You bring up the rear for the third question. And Connie, let me ask you right now while I have it in my head, because we'll have
David
Do bring
sure
up the
got a
rear. Is
haircut.
that offensive? I just need to check.
Just one
Okay.
opinion. Okay.
No, my hair's just wet.
So, Connie, by
okay.
any chance, I know you're sitting in the yard in a garden. Do you have a pen and paper? You don't need it now, but you might
She's a
have.
playwright. Of course she's got a pen and paper.
Or you can ask.
Ron,
Yeah.
Betty. Oh, wait a minute.
You'll need
Wait.
it the second. You will need it in a little bit. Wow.
Okay. I'm diving for it now.
That will be for the tiebreaker, when we do that. But until then, we're good. And Lesiie Hoban Blake gets the very first question of today's Today, Yesterday quiz on
I'm
this.
finally awake. I got home Thursday night. I slept all day yesterday.
Oh, no, home from.
Oh, I went to visit my kids in Connecticut.
Oh, and how
I
are
had
they?
the greatest time.
Yay!
Greatest time.
Did you
We
go
went on
up
a little
there?
schooner in the Connecticut River.
Yeah.
a little like it could hold 20 people schooner kind of thing. And yeah, it was great. We had a great time.
That's wonderful. Yeah,
It
were
was
you
amazing.
masked or you just went?
Not on the schooner, no. It's very funny in Connecticut. It's a kind of a yes, we wear masks, no, we don't wear masks situation. And so we just have masks with us at all times.
Oh, yeah. So many of
So
us.
if you need them. See, she's got a beautiful pad. Look at that, because she's a playwright.
So, Leslie. Oh,
Yes.
and the one other thing, Connie, is that every question, the point of the piece, it's called Today, Yesterday, since today is June 26th, everything we're asking about happened on June 26th in history. Could have been 50 years ago, 150 years ago, but the questions, some of them are real trivia, others you just guess. It's all in fun. There's no prize.
Let me catch Connie up. Connie, it doesn't matter what the year is or the question, because David will find a way around it. And although the question will be something about that, it's going to be off to the left side of it. So don't worry about it. None of us know how to figure this out.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're in good company.
Thank you.
David, I have your shirt on a pillow.
What?
I have your shirt on a pillow.
Oh, could someone get that, please?
I got it.
Thank
I
you.
have your shirt on a pillow. People know better than to call me now.
So, Leslie Hoban Blake, are you ready for question number 1?
Sure.
Yay! Okay, here we go. And you were right. We begin in that wonderful year, 1284.
I was close.
Oh, yes, you remember it well. According to legend, June 26th, this is the date that a vengeful Pied Piper led the children of Hamelin away, where they'd never be seen again. According to Merriam-Webster's, what does the pied in Pied Piper actually mean? It's a multiple choice. Is it A, covered with pie, B, wearing shoes, C, multicolored, D, tricky?
This is very funny. I'm going to go with multicolored. It could be pied because that could be close to fed, which is foot, but I'm going to go with multicolored.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's the one that makes sense to me.
Well, I hope this isn't offensive, Leslie, because we are people of multicolor, but that is the correct answer. You do get 2 points. Leslie Hoban Blake, pie is has to do with colorful. Yay!
Every time, I used to be a children's librarian way back in the day, and when we had pictures of the Pied Piper of Hamelin, he was always dressed in like a court jester outfit with all of those tails coming out in all colors. So that's what I went for.
Well done, Les. Cut yourself a slice of pie. You are on the board with 2 points. Leslie Hoban Blake getting the first question in our quiz. We now move to the second question, which goes directly to Connie. Connie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. The year we move all the way up to 1870 for another multiple choice. Opening to the public today is the first section of the Atlantic City Boardwalk. Just 10 years later, the Fralingers Company opened there, and they're still there, selling saltwater taffy. Which of these is not a flavor in Fralingers' current roster? Is it A, licorice, B, blueberry mint, C, tea berry, D, pina colada?
Oh my God. Will you read those again, please?
You betcha. So yeah, Fralingers, 10 years after today, they opened on the Atlantic City Boardwalk. They're still around, although they're owned by the James Company now. Which of these do they currently sell? Is it, do they not currently? Which of these is not a current flavor? A, licorice, B, blueberry mint, C, tea berry, D, pina colada.
I'm going to go with C, tea berry. I'm not really sure what the hell it is. So if I were standing there, I'd go licorice. Oh, that's been there for 3 million years. Blueberry mint. That's interesting. I might do that. And a tea berry. And then the last one is
pina colada.
Oh, pina colada. That's the one I would get. So anyway, I'm going to go with the tea berry. I don't think they sell that. Am I right?
Connie, I was hoping the answer would suit you to a T, but no, that is not the correct answer. There is actually a tea berry flavor of the saltwater taffy. So I'm going to roll the die to see who gets the chance to steal this question, and it comes up, speaking of depends undergarments, it comes up with a number 2. Yes, I always have to make one of those jokes. And that is closer to David Sheward. David, don't you have an air conditioner? What the hell's going on over there? You got the fan, and you're going like
the fan on. I've got the fan on.
Yeah, okay, but you keep going like you're abolishing a Vic. What's going on?
Is he okay?
Maybe I should put on the air conditioner.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but before you put on the air conditioner, how about taking a stab at this?
All right, so it's which of these is not a saltwater taffy flavor?
From Freilinger's, yeah.
And what are my choices?
Is it A, licorice, B, blueberry mint, or D, pina colada?
Huh. I was going to say it's probably not blueberry mint because those two don't sound like they go together. And it's probably something like raspberry mint or something like that. Or something like, gooseberry mint. So I'll say it's blueberry mint is not a flavor.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
And, well, I guess this week you won't have the blues, David Sheward. That is correct answer. Blueberry mint is not an actual flavor. They do have molasses mint. And I always hope they have barium mint. That would be a yes, David Sheward. It's a tie game now. Lesiie and David both on the board. And here's the deal, though. This is where David gets sneaky because he gets the next question directly, so you can build on your lead. Excuse me.
Okay.
This one, though, is not a multiple choice.
All right. Okay.
June 26th, 1900 is the year. After returning from investigating tropical diseases in Cuba, this military physician starts putting together a research team. Together, they figure out how yellow fever is transmitted.
Okay.
Name that doctor, who years later was posthumously honored on a 5-cent postage stamp.
Oh, well, I do remember there was a movie or a play called Yellow Jacket.
Uh-oh.
What are you saying uh-oh for?
Yeah, your voice. I think you're okay.
Okay. There was a movie called Yellow Jacket, and of course Henry Fonda got the yellow fever in Jezebel with Betty Davis, and she saves him, or she cares for him on that island. At the end of the movie.
Is this your way of saying you don't know the answer, David?
Well, I'm stalling for time. Linus,
you're going to try to whiz us with all your facts.
It's not Linus Pauling, but that's the only name that comes to mind. A pioneering doctor. I can't think of it. Linus Pauling.
Is that your final answer?
It'll have to be.
Well, I'm afraid that answer was appalling, David Sheward. That is not the correct answer, I'm afraid. So we have
the movie, David, for your information, the movie was Yellow Jack, not Yellow Jacket.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't Yellow Jacket? How can that be? Okay, that's a B joke.
I get it.
Congdon.
David paid me $5 to say that so he could have that line.
Okay.
So, Connie, I rolled a number 4. So, I know for Googling. I don't know what you're doing over there on there.
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to, because I was thinking, because you know who, Jonathan Bolt wrote a play called Tu Libra, which I saw.
That's Robert Bolt.
And that's not the.
But you're not allowed to look anything up on Google.
You can't Google.
I can't answer. I can't answer the question because his name turned up.
So we're being honest about
disqualified.
Yeah.
Disqualified.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Connie. So Lesiie, fair cop, and by the way, thanks for your honesty, Connie. But yeah, if you start Googling things during it's a quiz, it's true you can't do it. But
I just couldn't. I couldn't wait.
Well, Lesiie, do you know the answer? I'll read the question.
I think if you had mentioned that he was also, I think if I'm right on this, you had said that he also had a hospital named after him. I think it was Walter Reed. Wow. But you said Yellow Jack, I think had to do with somebody named John. So I'm really confused myself. My first impulse was Walter Reed, so I'm going to stick with that. I may be wrong.
Okay.
Is that your final answer then?
Yeah. I'm confused about. I'm thinking about somebody named John, but I don't know. Go ahead, Walter Reed.
Well, you are certainly literate, Lesiie Hoban Blake, because you know how to read. That is the correct answer. Well done. It was.
Oh my God.
What?
Well, Google said it was a Japanese immunologist named Hideo something or other. And so
Well, Google was wrong?
the Japanese bacteriologist Hideo Noguchi led investigations for the Rockefeller Foundation, and that resulted in a vaccine based on his theory that disease was caused by leptospiral bacterium.
No, you're not looking up yellow fever. That's not yellow fever that you're looking at.
Okay, thank you.
This is why we can't trust. Anywho.
It was many years before the Rockefeller Foundation. It was in the 20s maybe, or the teens even.
Okay, so now when I hear Walter Reed, I'll think something positive instead of like, oh my God, people are really sick, you know.
Yeah.
So, all right, thank you.
Well, he did get a lot of credit for research by other people, and sort of they all landed it on him as well.
Connie, you got to put the phone away. We can't play with the phone out. That doesn't work.
Okay, the phone is away.
Okay,
but hey, Connie was really honest about saying that she was Googling and whatever. So really,
because I honestly didn't think I had a chance in hell of knowing the answer. So.
Well, right now we have a 4-2 game. Lesiie with 4 points, David with 2, Connie not yet on the board, but we move into round 2 of the yesterday quiz with more questions. And this one, Lesiie, you can really go to town on this because you get this question. Are you ready?
Sure.
There we go. It's a multiple choice. The year 1925, released today, is Charlie Chaplin's classic film, The Gold Rush. It made $1 million for United Artists and $2 million for Chaplin. Speaking of wealth, which is not true about gold? Is it, I know I go whatever, yeah. A, the word carat derives from the weight of a carob seed. B, gold is the only metal that isn't white. C, some Australian eucalyptus trees have gold in their leaves and branches. Or D, the Incas referred to gold as the sweat of the sun.
Oh, interesting.
Wow. One more time with the answers, David. One more time with A to D, please.
Absolutely sure. Which of these is not true about gold? A, the word carat derives from the weight of a carob seed. B, gold is the only metal that isn't white. C, some Australian eucalyptus trees have gold in their leaves and branches. Or D, the Incas referred to gold as, quote, the sweat of the sun.
Oops,
we've lost Connie. But this is Lesie's question anyway, so.
I don't even have anything clever to say or even anything that brings up any memories on this one. I mean, I have a gold hand and a silver hand, but that's, wow. That's all I have. I don't know anything about.
That shows your metal.
I think the sweat of the Incas, the sweat of the gods sounds like something the Incas would say. Because I knew the Incas very well. They lived next door to the Mayans. I know, I'm sorry.
And we're all Inca-stained wretches, so there you go.
Right, right. Is she coming back or is she staying away?
I assume she got knocked off and she's going to try and reload.
Yeah.
Well, that's because she was using her phone. That's why she got knocked off. I'm going to go with I think it's either, I'm going to say that it's not the carrot and the carob seed. I don't think that's it.
So you're saying
that is carob. That is CAROB seed, right?
In other
yeah,
words,
no, I don't believe that's true.
Don't believe that carrot and carob are connected.
No.
Well, you will not be taking a vacation in the Caribbean Leslie Hoban, because that actually, weirdly enough, that is a true thing. That is incorrect.
Okay.
So since Connie's not here and hopefully logging back on, this kind of automatically goes to you. It's
Okay.
But David Sheward,
So-
you want to try and steal?
Sure. Which of these is not true? Go ahead.
Not true. Is it? Gold is the only metal that isn't isn't white. See, some Australian eucalyptus trees have gold in their leaves and branches. Or D, the Incas referred to gold as the sweat of the sun.
Huh. I tend to, the eucalyptus thing sounds weird enough to be true. And that leaves the sweat of the sun and what was the other one?
There's the sweat of the sun and gold is the
Eucalyptus.
only metal that isn't white.
But I thought gold. Oh, okay. Yeah, gold is gold. So the question is,
Welcome back, Connie.
are other
Unmute.
metals? Are other
Unmute.
metals?
Right. Or other metals. Yeah.
So if this is not true, then there are other metals that aren't white.
Right.
I'm
Or
gonna
the metals of color, if you prefer. Yes.
Oh, wait. So the statement is gold is the only metal that isn't white.
Right.
I think that is not true. I think other metals are white. Oh, wait, is that?
Wait. You think other
Other
metals
metals aren't white. Other metals aren't white.
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, although it's not politically correct to say this, in this case, white is right, ladies and gentlemen. David Sheward, you get those 2 points. The thing is, there are only two metals. There's cesium and copper. The other two metals that are non. All other metals happen to be white.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Interesting.
So well done. And yes, the Incas did refer. They either said the sweat of the sun or the tears of the sun. They had all different things for gold.
How poetic.
Yeah. And
So we're now tied, are we, David and I?
you are indeed. It's 4-4. We got a 4-4 tie.
Welcome back, Connie. Nice to see you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, hey, look, I got it.
Clever girl. That's so smart. Yes.
It's Ron.
I guess
Ron did
Connie's
this.
taking umbrage because she has.
I'm taking umbrage, and this is Betty's umbrella. It's a very fine one, too.
Thank you, Betty.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back. We really appreciate it. It's great to have you in the neighborhood playing the game.
We
So
went
here's the-
right past you in the last question, but that's okay. We didn't know what happened and how long it would take you.
David did get a shot at getting the question, and he got it right. So we have.
And I missed it, so there you go.
So there you go. But the next question does go directly to you. You came back perfect timing. Connie, this question is for you. It's a non-multiple choice question. Again, we're doing everything that happened on June 26th in history. This one happened in 1929. Born today in the Bronx is this graphic designer who would go on to create such imagery as Bob Dylan's psychedelic poster and the I Love New York logo. He would
Easy, Milton Glasser.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Yes! Break the glass, ladies and gentlemen. Connie
Thank you.
on the board. I was going to say he also co-founded New York Magazine with Clay
You
Felker.
don't need to say
I'm
any of
just
that
a-
stuff.
Okay.
I'm a big fan. I mean, he's no longer with us, but I was a big fan of his. And I saw a documentary on him, and I'm sorry he's gone. He had a really interesting life.
He only passed away a year ago.
I know, it really is. And he was a wonderful artist. He did this very nice kind of drawing painting of his daughter in bed, asleep, and the cat curled up on top. And the cat was named Mr. Hoffman because she thought he was the greatest actor of all time. So I don't agree, but I think he's a damn fine actor, but I just love that. You know?
Are we talking Dustin or Philip Seymour?
Oh, right. Wait.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I'm mad at Philip Seymour Hoffman. He broke my heart. Okay. So enough said about that. Yeah, no, it was Dustin Hoffman.
Well, I'm walking here. I'm walking here. I can do that.
Did you ever get to say that on the street? I actually hit a cab's fender and yelled at the driver, and people on the sidewalk went like this. It was
Good for
hysterical.
you.
I was very angry because he got so close to me before he stopped. I was. Mind you, I
usually
was
do something
walking, but
else
that's
when that
another
happens.
story.
I don't think in terms of I'm walking here. Another word flies out of my mouth before anything else.
No,
Well,
no.
you know,
It just came out like that. It wasn't thought of. It just happened.
the other half of the Odd Couple did that, and he hit the top of the cab, and he said, "I'm walking here." And that man, that actor, very fine actor's name is not in my head.
Jack Klugman.
Tony Randall and
Klugman, Jack Klugman.
Jack Klugman.
Jack Klugman.
Jack
Yeah,
Klugman.
Yeah.
loved him.
Yeah. All right, we have a really great game right now. We've got Lesiie and David tied with 4, Connie with 2 points. But here's the deal. We have one more question that goes directly to David Sheward. So, David, you can break the tie if you get this correct. The year was 1948.
Okay. 48.
Published, speaking of the New York, well, that was New York Magazine was the other one. This is the New Yorker. Published in the New Yorker today is this short story, all about a small town whose residents have an annual habit of throwing stones. For one point, name the story, and for the second, the author, who got a lot of hate mail for writing it.
It was, well, I'm glad I got this question because this is a story that we teach in the 9th grade.
Yep.
And I've taught it a couple of times, and it is The Lottery by Shirley Jackson.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You win the $1 million sweepstakes. Yes, of course, that is The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. Well, see, this
That's
is
a
why we...
heavy piece. How old are 9th graders these days?
I think they're 13, aren't they?
13 and 14.
Yeah, it's a great story. I read it at
reasonably, fine point. I mean, that must raise some interesting questions.
Yeah, and it's a lot of the teaching is like foreshadowing and unexpected and irony.
Oh, I see.
And you
not
don't.
The point of the story. Not the point of the story, which is what happens in America every day. Okay.
Oh, and that too. But you're teaching also.
I wonder.
A lot of what you want to teach is writing strategies, like how does the author convey her points, and so then you get into, were you surprised by the ending? What do you think the ending means?
Mm-hmm.
Etc.
Well, this generation of students, it just means, hey, let's go get stoned. So there you go.
Actually, that's not true. They're kind of, at least my students were, smoking weed is legal and kind of like something you do daily. They're into other drugs that scare me. But
as a teacher, do you feel compelled to say don't do that, or do you just kind of, when they're in your class, you just concentrate on that? And
myself or Connie?
Actually, I'll ask both of you. I was talking to Connie, but she deals with college kids. You've got high school kids, right? Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's like, I just, say, do not do this in school. What you do on your own time is up to you. It's just not a good idea to abuse it. But that's a counselor's job, not my job.
Fair enough.
I mean, I try to say I wouldn't, it's not a good idea, but I don't push it too much.
Yeah, I would say that about murder to my kids. If you want to do that after school,
don't kill anybody.
Yeah, use a good knife if you're using knife. Yeah, but so serrated because it gets the job done quicker. But anywho, we are coming to the end of the third round. We have the end of the second round. Second round of the Today Yesterday quiz. On this episode of Dave's Gone By. We're here, by the way, with David Sheward, Lesiie Hoban Blake, and Connie Congdon. It's just about 11:30, and I'm Dave Lefkowitz, by the way. So, here's the deal. We have a great game going. We have David Sheward with 6 points, Lesiie Hoban Blake with 4 points, and Connie Congdon on the board with 2. As we go to decide, you're on there, Connie. I say that every week. I tell all the new guests, all the new players, that just to get on the board in this crazy game, is worth applause. Is like congratulations. Winning is a whole other thing in this nutso game, but just the very fact that you've gotten 2 points, you should actually be much more proud than getting the play in the Red Bull Festival. More proud.
I am,
for AC.
David. I am very proud. I'm very proud. I'm very moved.
Oh,
I've worked hard for this moment, and
is there anybody?
Is that the speech you pull out for all your awards, Connie? Is that the one?
Yes, I do. I say, thank you. And the thing is, just to go back very quickly to the drug thing, I tell my students that I am a sober woman. I've been sober for 26 years now, and I just give them a little speech about what I tried before I had to give it all up. And I'm just very honest about drug use. And if a student is stoned and I know it, I'll just ask them, are you stoned? Yeah, so go back to your dorm. Yeah, because I don't know what you're experiencing here, but I need sober people in the room. And that's it. When it happens, there been a couple of times where I knew it and I didn't do it because I felt the student was impossible anyway or very fragile. So I also give my remedy for hangovers. I taught 8:30 a.m. classes, so I needed to do something about that. Okay, now, all right, let's go on. Shall we go
Connie,
on?
a quick question. How did the rest of the class respond when you said that?
The class was very, very supportive.
Of you or of the student?
We're one big, I'm not an authority figure, let me put it that way, except when I, have to be. So how did the others, they were appreciative. And then I actually had a couple of students come back to me in the 25 years I've taught and confessed that they thought they were having trouble with, it's usually alcohol. Alcohol's the big troublemaker. So you're not, yeah.
Yoo-hoo. I would just, I tank up on that, on like 5 gallons of chocolate Yoo-hoo before every class. And you can tell the sugar just coursing through me. I made it through the class, but just barely. Anywho, yeah, that just fell flat. That won't be going into my next play. But here's the deal. Let's begin round 3 of our yesterday game. Remember, every one of these questions are things that happened on June 26th.
So David, I thought you said lesbian. I thought you said lesbian art game. You said let's begin. It took me that long to get it.
Lesbian.
Watching that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Lesbian.
I thought that's what he said. I thought he was starting a whole new topic there.
Lesbian. Okay, I like that. Just wrote it down.
Definitely better than this game. All right, but here we go.
Okay.
Leslie, by the way, you get a chance to tie the game here.
Yes, I get a chance. Let's see what my chance is, David.
It's a multiple choice.
Yeah, thanks a lot, David. Little editorializing there. Okay, go ahead.
The year 1974. At Marsh Supermarket in Troy, Ohio, the very first barcode scanner was used to check out an item. It cost 67 cents. Was it A, Aunt Jemima maple syrup, B, juicy fruit gum, C, Ritz crackers, D, Swanson frozen peas?
Do we jump in or no? This is your question.
No, nobody jumps in. No, you stay where you are. Stay where you are. Stand down. Aunt Jemima pancake syrup, juicy fruit gum, something I can't remember. Ritz crackers and frozen peas.
Right.
For 67 cents. All right, gum did not cost 67 cents in 1974. Not even in Ohio. So that's not it.
Do we win a car if we get it right?
I'll read the question again. At this supermarket in Ohio, the very first barcode.
Doesn't matter about the beginning of the question. The answers are all that matter.
All right.
Why are you reading it for him? It's for me. He can wait. Excuse me. I'm trying to think here. I'm thinking here.
I'm thinking here.
Sha. Just sha. Okay, as my grandmother would say. All right, now.
I'm not bothering you.
Okay.
Oh, God. All right. So I was on a train there, and now I'm on a track. I'm lost.
Sorry.
I said juicy fruit gum did not cost 67 cents in 1974. There are too many numbers in there. I don't remember if Aunt Jemima made pancake syrup. Probably, but I don't remember ever using it. Peas and okay, so the last one that I'm missing. Peas, juicy fruit, Aunt Jemima, and what?
Ritz crackers.
Ritz crackers. I'm going to say in the dim dark days of the 70s, I can't remember what anything cost anymore. Oh, now we lost David. He went to go look up.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. All right.
I'm still here. Okay.
I'll go with these were cheap. Crackers. All that stuff is cheap stuff.
I'm going to need an answer, Les.
I know. And I keep forgetting the one thing I still have the same thing. Peas,
I'll read them one more time. All the choices are Aunt Jemima maple syrup,
Oh my God.
juicy fruit gum, Ritz crackers, Swanson frozen peas.
Okay, I'm going to say Aunt Jemima maple syrup because I'm sure that she never had maple syrup. There might have been Aunt Jemima pancake syrup, but there never would have been Aunt Jemima maple syrup because that's expensive.
Or I'm sorry. You know what, Leslie? We'll call it pancake. Aunt Jemima syrup. That's not fair. If
it wasn't maple syrup. That was my clue.
Aunt Jemima syrup. Okay. Yeah. As we know, it's all corn syrup.
Syrup, Ritz crackers, peas. I think I can't remember.
Gum.
What? Oh, the juicy fruit gum. I knew that the first time around. All right.
It's still Saturday morning here, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing the Dave's Gone By.
And it will be for a long time. Okay. I'll still go with the Aunt Jemima. I know you were trying to help me there, but I don't think I'm going to go with Aunt Jemima.
Well, speaking of, not only is Aunt Jemima now politically incorrect, but that was an incorrect answer as well. So we get to roll the die and see. Wait, no, that's from my Facebook page. Where's my roll the die page? Hold on.
I hope Connie gets it because I think Connie knows the answer. So,
We will see. The number comes up, though, for David, because it's a number 2 that came up, and David is number 3.
Okay.
So he's closer to the 2. David, this question is yours.
So the question is, which of these 3 remaining items here on The Price is Right is worth $1.67?
No. 67 cents. It was scanned in 1974 at Mark's Supermarket in Troy, Ohio.
Okay, so which of these 3 remaining, and because today was the day we had the first barcode.
Correct.
Okay, and
one of these was scanned and read 67 cents. It worked. Yeah.
Okay. And George H.W. Bush didn't know what it was when that famous time that he went out in public. Okay, and went to a grocery market just like a real person. Okay, so our choices are Ritz crackers, frozen peas, and what was the other one?
Juicy fruit gum.
Okay, all right. I think Leslie's right. Juicy fruit gum would not have been as much as 67 cents in 1974. So the frozen peas or the Ritz crackers. I would think Ritz crackers would be. I think they would both be more than 67 cents. So Bob Barker, if I don't get it right, do I still get the car?
In the wheel.
I'm gonna say the frozen peas.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, yes, sure.
Well, put on your undergarments and take a pee. That is not the correct answer, David Sheward. So Connie Congdon. Yes, you're here. I see your face. You're like, oh my God, I get to steal this question. So Connie, it's a 50-50 for you. Which of these was scanned for 67 cents back in 1974? Was it?
I'm going to go, I'm sure it's Ritz crackers, but I'm going to go with the Juicy Fruit gum.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, as we discussed earlier, Connie, I happen to be chew-ish. This little gum joke. Connie, you're right. It was
right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That
Okay.
it was one little pack. It might have been. It could have been like one of these 5.
Well.
Yeah,
that's
just
the
a
same.
single pack. I think was because a single pack is gone like it's $1
Oh,
or
yeah.
something
Now.
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Could have been 50
I
cents
know.
then.
Yeah, but Juicy Fruit. Okay, good.
Sorry, I let you
David.
astray, David. Not really.
Well, here's the deal. What a
Sorry,
game!
not sorry.
This is the second week in a row when we've really got a serious game going because David Sheward has 6 points, but Lesiie and Connie are both tied with 4. Whoa! What can
Whoa.
you feel?
It's very exciting to be tied with such a champion. And really, I and I barely trained, so I just it's pure luck, Lesiie. Just really.
Training is putting your head under a pillow and going like this. That's training for this.
Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Here's the deal, though. We still have a couple more questions to go, so it really is anybody's game. And the next question, however, goes directly to David Sheward. So,
Does it go to Connie? It goes to Connie next.
Connie, goes to Connie. I'm sorry. Goes to Connie. Connie, this
Okay.
question.
I'm behind you, girl. I got your
Thank
back,
you.
girl. You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Lesiie.
Here's the
You're
deal.
welcome.
See, I get confused with that because when I first put down what numbers you chose, I have them in an order that you get them, and then when you choose what order you get, that doesn't matter.
Do you think we care? Do you think we care, David?
Yeah, we
You
we
really
don't
think
care
we
about
care?
The year 1977, Connie.
Okay.
Describing this event, a reporter for the Indianapolis Star wrote, quote, "Men in leisure suits, women with permanents, and teens and sub-teens in dungarees descended 18,000 strong on Market Square Arena last night, clutching tickets purchased 2 months ago for up to $15 apiece, even higher among scalpers," unquote. For 1 point, whom were they there to see? And for the second point, why only 2 months later did the night become historic?
Well, that was in Cincinnati, and the band, God damn it, Tommy, what's his name, was in it. And the crowd heard them warming up, thinking the concert had started. There was only one door open, and there was this huge stampede, and a lot of people got killed. It's just awful. And the band, who was Tommy? He was I'm going to say Iron Maiden.
Is that so the band, or they were there to see Iron Maiden, and it was historic because there was
a huge stampede. It's probably not Iron Maiden. So I'm going to change and say Pink Floyd.
Is that your final answer?
And my final answer, David.
Well, you look great, Connie, but you're not exactly in the pink. I'm afraid you don't get any points for that answer. We're going to have some rolling, which means incorrect. So we're going to roll the die, ladies and gentlemen, and it comes back to 4. So 4 is, well, Connie, but it's closer to David just a bit. So David, you get to try and answer this question.
Excuse me, 4 is exactly between 2 and 6. How is it closer to David?
No, David's 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. I'm sorry, David. I thought you were 2.
No,
Forgive me.
No, great.
So
That's
that
great.
they were both the answers. Both of them were wrong. It
Both
wasn't.
of those answers were incorrect, Connie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But they
something
sounded
happened.
so good, Connie. They really did.
So,
You should write a play
Something
about that.
happened at
Yeah.
this concert in 1977, and it became and what? So
And
the-
it
the que-
became.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is now. Damn
don't
it.
Don't say. So it's something that happened in 1977 to this band. So you want the name of the band that appeared and what happened? That was
well. For one point, I will let me read this question and listen very carefully. For
Okay.
one point, whom were the crowds there to see? And for the second point, why only 2 months later did the night become historic?
It was Lin-Manuel Noriega. Hamilton.
Hamilton was created. No.
Yeah. So 1970, and did you say where it happened?
Market Square. Well, a reporter was writing about it for the Indianapolis Star.
Oh, Indianapolis. That's not Cincinnati at all.
I'm going to say 1977. Well, I was alive then, so I should know what this is. All right. And something happened with this band, and then something happened 2 months later. Oh, was it Phil Collins? And then 2 months later, he was starving or something and he fainted, and later they found out something bad. Or was it Rod Stewart that happened to? I think Rod Stewart fainted on the stage, and then 2 months later it came out that he hadn't had anything to eat in like the past 2 weeks, and he was stoned, getting back to what we were talking about, and he had too much of a certain substance in his body, which I won't repeat. All right, I'll say Rod Stewart, and it came to pass that he collapsed from hunger because he hadn't been eating, and he only had something else in his body of a sexual nature.
Wait, whoa, wait, all right. What? Yeah, okay. That kind of, yeah. What do you mean something? What else would you have? I thought like it'd be a drug of some. What the hell? I'm throwing the game away this moment. Oh, wait, Rod Stewart?
Or somebody. Maybe it was Phil Collins. I don't remember.
Is that your final answer? The international.
High source of protein, I've been told.
Yes. You know what? Forget the second part, because I do look it up on Google later after this.
Yeah, no, Rod Stewart?
I'm very confused.
I mean,
maybe it was Phil Collins.
Maybe Rachel Hunter.
Dave Lefkowitz is ready to go break all his Rod Stewart records right now.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. But, yeah.
Why do you think his voice is like that? Well, from your reaction about Rod Stewart, well, I don't know. Okay, no. I'll say Rod Stewart, and it turned out he took a drug overdose.
Rod Stewart overdosed drugs. Yeah, no, it's just that I've never heard that about Rod Stewart. That it would have been.
I heard it about somebody.
I mean, he was as heterosexual as that gets. I've never heard anything beyond that. Anyway, no points on that. None, zero. Okay. Not even remotely any points. Okay.
With somebody.
Lesiie, Hoban, Blake. David Sheward did not do a good job on that question, or he did not do a good job on that question.
You had a meltdown. David did fine. I don't know. I never saw such a meltdown. You want to say, David? You want to say Rod Stewart again in that voice? I loved it. I want to
hard to swallow, but yeah, okay.
Oh. Again, I say what I said before. It's supposed to be a very good source of protein. So
that's what I was always told.
Okay.
That's what I was always told. Yep.
Yes, that's what we were always told, right? Anyway, getting back to the place. I know the year. I know the instance. What was the place again?
It was, according to it was written about in the Indianapolis Star, Market Square Arena.
That doesn't mean anything. I'm going to make a guess, given the time that it happened.
Okay, well, I'm still. As soon as I'm finished.
It was the Rolling Stones, and that it was Keith Richards, and he had a heart attack. So they had to reschedule the That's it. I'm making that up. I have no idea.
Well, I guess you've got no expectations of getting that particular question correct, Lesiie Hoban. But no, I guess I fooled all of you. All those people, young and old, turned out to see Elvis.
Oh.
And what turned out to be 2 months later, that was his last live.
Oh my God, I never even thought of Elvis. Wow. Okay. That was old fat Elvis.
Yeah.
When they did the stamps of Elvis, I was so disgusted that they did old fat Elvis. They should have just done young young hunky Elvis.
Well, then you
old
would like
fat
licking the
Elvis on a
stamps more.
stamp.
Have you seen
really-
August Wilson's stamps? August Wilson's stamps are beautiful. He
Yes.
looks beautiful. They're just beautiful. They're out now. I bought a lot. So
Constance, did we meet up at the O'Neill when August was there?
I'm sure because I would always come and see his plays, whatever they
In the
were.
90s, somewhere on 91 to 94, would you have been around there?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I was there 2 years in a row up there, so that would probably been when.
So,
I mean, I know,
what,
aside from anything else, I'm pretty sure that's when we met. Go ahead.
okay. Hello again.
Hello.
Hello again. But
Here we go.
August joggled my memory when you said that, because that's where, that's
For all
where
I know,
he's
Connie, we
always
might have
there.
met there too, because I was out up at the O'Neill the same kind of time period.
Well, you and I met at the O'Neill, David,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So,
But Connie, do you live in Connecticut?
No, I live in Massachusetts.
Oh,
Yeah.
she lives in Amherst. It's not Amherst.
oh, that's right, she does.
It's
Okay, I knew that.
Amherst.
I knew
And
that,
the
but I
H is
forgot.
silent.
Yeah.
Yay.
I never
Okay.
heard of
Amherst.
that.
I
Anyway,
know, I used to date a guy who went to Amherst. He was very big on the silent H, yes.
Yes, we're very happy to have
Amherst.
Connie Congdon.
happy to have us here. So I moved to Hadley though. This is my friend Betty's house. I moved to Hadley because
Is it
Amherst
Hadley or Adley?
what, honey?
Is it Adley or Adley?
There we use the fucking H, okay? Hadley. Sometimes people
It's
call
the
it the
fucking H, dear. It's the fucking H. Is
the H. And we call it the Republic of Hadley because it's not completely within the tofu curtain. So
So it's like a
anyway.
very crunchy granola-esque kind of area of Massachusetts, like everybody's health food.
Well, it's unless you go to, visit Southeast or so. There's a lot of Massachusetts that's not crunchy granola.
David, I think David, you're being pulled away. Can you hang with us to finish the game for like 5 or 10?
Sure. Yeah. I need to go by 12 though.
Okay, let's make sure we finish the yesterday game with our gang. So and we have a game that is still David with 6 points, Leslie with 4 points, Connie with 4 points. Excuse me. So we still have a very close game that anybody could take. However, David, you could really you could finish it off by getting this question. Well, the last of our round.
Plug my stuff. I'm back on. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. David Sheward.
9 minutes. Pick it up.
David Sheward. The year was 1990. Okay.
Yes.
Multiple choice. Radio stations throughout Canada and the Midwest began banning the music of K.D. Lang, not because of politics or sexuality, but owing to her prominent objection to the beef industry. Which of these is not a K.D. Lang song?
Okay.
A, The Last Cigarette Waltz. B, Kundalini Yoga Waltz. C, Watch Your Step Polka. D, Don't Be a Lemming Polka. One of these is not a K.D. Lang song.
Don't Be a Lemming Polka.
Here. I think you're right.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, it's probably Do Be a Lemming Polka.
Well, I'm afraid you went right over the cliff with that one, David Sheward. That is not the correct answer. That is
Damn it.
a K.D. Lang song. Well, no, don't go. Damn it! This is what you might.
For you guys, you get to see
Oh, I'm rooting for David now. I don't know. He's a public school teacher, and
Well, I was a public school teacher. What is
David,
you're
answer
rooting for
the
David?
question.
Where's my feminist friend here now, huh?
oh, see
Go ahead,
there,
root
I'm
for
getting it
David.
again.
Always the patriarchy.
Okay.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Leslie,
Too much collectivism.
I rolled a 6, which means that
Whoa, well, that means I get it, right.
well, if you get it right, you do. You can tie the game.
But
So-
I don't know the answer. So run through the questions.
I'll read them again.
Run through the answers that are left. Just which one is not a K.D.
Yes,
Lang
okay.
song?
Which of
Of
these
the
is not
three that are
K.D.
left.
Lang song? A, The
Last
Last
Cigarette.
Waltz. B, Kundalini Yoga Waltz. C, Watch Your Step Polka.
I want it to be the Kundalini yoga thing so much because it's so not in my head. That's so not K.D. Lang. I'm going to go with Kundalini yoga.
Is that your final answer?
That's as close as I can come in my head, yes.
Well, the answer is a bit of a stretch. I'm afraid it is not correct. And so, Connie Congress,
all yours,
even though you're
Connie.
rooting for David Sheward, you have the chance to steal this question.
Okay. Which one is not a Katie Lang song?
Is it The Last Cigarette Waltz or the Watch Your Step Polka?
The Watch Your Step Polka.
Is that your final answer?
It is.
Well, I'm blanking on a pun. I'm sorry. Well, that's all for that question, which all of you got wrong. The fake one was The Last Cigarette Waltz. I made that one up. All the rest are Katie Lang songs. 2 of them, to be honest, were on the soundtrack to Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, which is why they had such a weird.
Was that the only waltz in there?
Well, Kundalini Yoga Waltz was actually in the soundtrack apparently, and one of those polkas I think was there. One of the polkas was on one of her regular albums. So the 2 polkas were real. Only one of the waltzes was real. So we still have, honestly, you're not going to believe this. The champion remains champion. We're going to do the tiebreaker anyway. But David Sheward, with 6 points at the end of round 3, has gotten the crown back from Vicky Klein last week. David Sheward, congratulations.
And you look fabulous in that crown.
Doesn't he? So we have enough time, though, David. I hope that we can do the tiebreaker anyway. It's all for fun. What we do, Connie, is that I read the question, I'll read it again, and then you'll write it down. You'll write down the answer. I'll give a 3, 2, 1, and then everybody shows their answer to the camera at the same time.
Oh! I have to pick up my piece of paper.
It's all
Okay.
right.
It's okay. I can do
We
it.
have 4 minutes before David has to run out of the room. Here we go.
Okay.
Here's the question. Again, it's June 26th, 2018. Unveiled today by West Japan Railway is its new bullet train running from Hakata to Osaka. Journalists everywhere called it the cutest or most kawaii bullet train because it's decorated inside and out with what theme?
That's a tough one for David.
What theme?
Okay.
Can you still
okay.
hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
We'll see you in here.
I've been kicked off for some reason. So
No, you're good.
before everybody, when you show theirs, because I cannot see you, when you show theirs, let me call out my answer, okay?
Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah,
Sure.
Sure.
I'm
All
I
ready.
can't see
I'll
you.
read
I
it
swear to
again.
God, I cannot see you. All right, thank
We'll
you.
read the question.
Oh,
Does
you
everybody
can't
have
see
an answer
this.
yet? Or have you written it
Yeah,
down?
I got it answered.
Okay. I'll read the question one more time and then I'll give a 3, 2, 1. 2018 was the year. Unveiled today by West Japan Railway is its new bullet train running from Hakata to Osaka. Journalists everywhere called it the cutest or most kawaii bullet train because it's decorated inside and out with what theme? 3, 2, 1.
Don't say anything. I want to be able to answer.
Well, don't you close your eyes, Leslie, because they're holding up the.
I can't see anything because I'm not on this. I got kicked off the site.
Oh, I
I
see.
don't understand why.
Well, 3, 2, 1, Leslie. What's your answer?
Hello, Kitty.
That's what I said.
Well done to David Sheward. Well done to Leslie. Sorry, Connie. That was a great answer. It was not Pokemon. It was, in fact, Hello.
Hello, Kitty. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, guys. It was lovely playing with you. Nice to see you again, Constance. I don't know why I got kicked off. It was something I said.
Well, we still
Maybe.
hear you and see you. So, Leslie, remind us. Can we see you in Critic Circle with Charlie? What's the latest?
You can see me. That's amazing. I can't see any of you. There's
Yeah,
nothing on my
on
screen.
Well, we can actually see you, but tell us. Do you have a new episode of Critic Circle on YouTube?
No, nothing new to report. I've been taking everything slow, and I probably will have something up, but there's nothing now.
No problem. But they can see the older episodes at the Critic Circle.
Yes,
YouTube
on YouTube, Critic Circle on YouTube or Two on the Aisle on YouTube.
Excellent. Now, David Sheward, also very quickly, what have you written this past week that people can read?
Well, I posted something on the David desk where I wrote a little mini script, a little mini play about what if Samantha and Darren and Endora from Bewitched went to a family counseling session.
I can see that. That's on the David Desk blog, right?
Yes.
Just look for the David
David, David, if there are parts for each of us, can we play it next week?
If you like, sure. There's
can
Darren.
With you as Darren. You do
there's
Darren.
Samantha. There's Darren, Samantha, the therapist, and Endora.
I'm Endora.
Those are the four.
So Joyce can play the offstage voice of Endora. I can do Samantha. David can do the therapist, and you can do one of the two Darrens.
And then I want to work on a satire of Sam Shepard and the Flintstones called Buried Child in Bedrock.
Oh
I love it.
Because we never found out where Bam Bam came from, you know?
This is true.
He was left on the Rubble's doorstep, and we don't know who his mother and father.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
Yeah,
And I bet that
sure. Just one quick question on your Bewitched theme. Which Darren are you talking about?
Oh, that's right. Is it? Doesn't matter.
Is it Dick York or is it Dick Sargent?
And one of them was gay. Dick York.
Now, Dick Sargent, the second one.
Okay.
And yeah. Also, I just want to say it's too bad we didn't have a question about Formica because of Connie's play, The Tales of the Last Formicans.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Lost Formicans.
Which
But
I love
thank you, dear.
Lost Formicans.
Oh, my Tales of the Lost Formicans, among many other plays by Connie Congdon. Connie, of course, we're begging people to go to the Red Bull Theater Company's website and watch your play and mine, among a couple of other one-act plays on July 12th, Monday night, 7:30. Suggested donation starts at $25, but you can also pay nothing or pay what you can.
Are you sending us a link, or we just have to go there?
I just told you, it's a Red Bull.
Monday night.
No, I know that. I didn't know if there was a direct link or not. I'm just asking.
We put it on the Facebook page if you want to find it there. Joyce,
I'm not on Facebook for the 9,000th time. So Red Bull is 712. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So, but here's the deal, Leslie. I'll be emailing it to a whole bunch of people and tweeting it.
Okay, that's all I wondered. Okay.
Yeah. But it's Monday.
Well, it was nice talking with you. Bye, guys.
Bye, Leslie.
Connie, just are any of your other plays being done? Is there any other place that we can see your stuff?
Right now, I don't know.
Okay.
But my most recent plays are Lips and Paradise Street. So they're out there. I don't know until I get my little statement from my publisher.
So Connie, what's you do have a website where people can go and read about you, and that is?
Yeah, you can, it's under construction, and it's just look under Constance Congdon website.
The title of it was Under Construction. I like that.
Actually, you know what? That's a great title.
It
is.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it has been.
Oh, David, thank you, and I'm sorry Connie, you were a worthy opponent. It was fun playing with you. Thank you, and David, thank you, and David Lefkowitz, thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you. Please come back and play the game again, Connie. We would love to have you.
Okay.
And just keep writing the plays, and looking forward to seeing your work on July 12th. Guys, have a great week, and we'll see you.
Okay, dear.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.